Hello and welcome to the show. I'm Donnie.
And I'm Nick, and today we're rambling with Tim Jarrold about photography.
Hello, Tim.
Donnie.
Now,
Nick.
We have spoken to you before about doing this, and you were like a bit apprehensive because you thought you had nothing to talk about. But that's really not going to be true because we know you're quite a well-rounded photographer.
Well, don't get me talking. Am I going for a while?
Well, we got time. I think we've got all the batteries are charged today.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So, well, we have done one where we've thought like.
It only lasted a half hour,
Half
and then it was
hour.
like pitch black out.
Yeah, so we have had technical. So we've got you at prime time, lots of sunlight, lots of battery power, so you can ramble.
Nice and dry.
It's dry, it's windy, it's cold.
Yeah, it's a little cool, but that's okay.
We can't sort of organise the weather, but everything else. So you're a Windsor native, right?
I am, yes.
And we're going to really talk about your accent. Yes, and you're a well-rounded photographer, but you also do some other things that actually encompass some of the stuff we do, like the burden, and you're a hawk bander.
Yes, I am.
So we'll touch on that as well during this here, but just talk about first, where did your passion for photography come from or start? Or
Well, I used to go out to Checker Flag, and I had a Kodak 110 Instamatic, and I took a few pictures through the fence or whatever I did, and then I don't know, I got the courage to just go and ask the flagman, hey, can I go out on the track? And to my surprise, he said, yeah, go ahead. Yeah. So I went out on the track after the winners were presented with the checker flag, and I took some pictures with this little Instamatic of, the drivers with the checker flags and that. And I got a big kick out of that, and that was pretty cool. And I think that was probably the bug that really got me going.
How old were you?
I was 13 at the time.
That sounds like a long
13.
time ago. When you mentioned you were 13, I don't think you look that old, but you did tell us you recently retired.
Yes.
And also a Kodak Instamatic 110. That doesn't sound like an R5 Canon or a D4 Nikon that we're used to now. That sounds like a few generations ago. Yeah.
Just a couple.
Yeah.
So
you've really honed your skills. That's what I'm saying. I'm not taking a jab at you.
I told you anything goes, so go for it.
So you really have you've worked your way through from the film days, right?
Yeah, I went through the film days, Pentax, a couple Pentaxes. My first SLR was a Praktika. And I don't know if you, since you're so young, I don't know if you're aware of consumers distributing. We have to go in there and you write down what you want on a piece of paper, give it to the person at the table. They go in the back, pull it out of stock, and bring it out.
Oh, that's the first time I've had a guest taken out by our pizza.
Okay.
Well, that's a good. Yeah.
Take two.
Oh, this is great. This is good stuff.
Yeah. So I get a Praktika, and that was.
So that's a brand?
Praktika. Yeah. And I was in college. And I took photography as an elective. It wasn't so much about the shooting. The first elective was about film and emulsions and how a photo's made in a camera. And then we did a little bit of shooting, slides and stuff like that. But it wasn't too much exciting. And then I started shooting at school. So I was shooting for the St. newspaper. And by the end of it, I ended up, by the end of my career there at St. Clair, I was the sports editor and the photo editor. Meanwhile, I'm in electrical electronics engineering technology, and my prof, who may have seen my marks, might not have been so good on the last test or lab, says, "Hey, nice paper, Tim," with a bit of a sarcasm there, and probably well deserved. But I was spending more time down in the St. newspaper doing my thing down there than I was in the lab doing what I was supposed to be doing for marks. So it is what it is.
Was there a point then that you were sort of thinking photography is going to be like maybe the way to go professionally?
It was the electronics. It was the electronics.
Yeah. You had more of a passion for the electronics.
Yeah. While I was at the school, I started writing away to the Red Wings, NASCAR and IndyCar at Michigan National Speedway, Formula One, the first race in '82 in Detroit.
Yeah, that's cool.
Nice.
And I mean, I wrote away to a lot more than that, and I got a lot of rejections.
Yeah.
Because it was just about shooting for the school, but I was, it was 1979, 80, 81, so, it was a little easier to get credentials, right?
Mm.
Like the Red Wings, I would have to buy a ticket for the game, and then they'd give me a credential to shoot. And I remember shooting from the penalty box one game. I still have all my negatives, all of my negatives.
Fantastic.
I seen you were looking for your VHS.
I found.
Really?
I seen your last.
I found it.
Home. Yeah, you got
I found it. So I'm gonna have. hopefully soon I'll have that real fishing show
Nice.
on a YouTube.
You
and-
grow the mustache back.
Oh, I'm not growing it back. If I grow back, it's going to be all gray. It just, you can't see it when it's gray. That's a problem.
Nice. So
Where'd you find it?
It's a long story. We don't have time. That's another episode.
that's a different one, eh? Well, maybe whenever you make your video, we can do a presentation show
Yeah,
of
sure.
your video.
Okay.
So whenever you're saying to get credentials for the Red Wings initially back in the day, then you had to be a ticket holder, and then so they
Oh, for the Red Wings, yeah. For
yeah.
that example, I'd
Yeah.
have to buy a ticket. Sometimes they attached a condition to the credential.
Right.
I remember I wasn't a soccer fan at all, and I don't know why I did it, but at the Pontiac Silverdome, they used to have, I think it might have been called the Express, and they were at a very high level soccer, whatever the big league was in the United States.
Yeah.
And I got credentials for they sent me an envelope with credentials and
is it-
parking and everything for the
Well,
whole season.
Well, they really need it, right?
And I went to like one game. I'm not a soccer guy. I generally like what I'm shooting.
Yeah, that's
I
what
want
I was
to be
saying,
interested in it.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even a basketball guy before I started shooting the Express.
Okay.
And when I started shooting the Express, they were so exciting that it was like, I'm ready to go. Every game I wanted to be there because I didn't know what I was going to shoot, and that's all I cared about.
Yeah.
Wins and losses didn't really matter. I just wanted something
part of the
exciting
action.
to
Yeah.
shoot.
Yeah. And so then you got into your regular work then after college. Now, that career side of things, did that then start to get in the way of any of this, or was you always felt you had enough time to shoot the?
No, I stopped. Let's see. I did photography. I think my last Formula One was '86 in Detroit, and it was getting to be expensive to do photography, or I actually was doing tournament bass fishing at
okay.
the time. So I stayed with the tournament bass fishing, and then ended up by the end of the '80s into the '90s, I ended up doing the pro circuit in Ontario, but I couldn't afford to do both.
Right.
It was just get a house, start a family. So
When was the last Formula One race in Detroit?
in Detroit,
Like 90s?
it might have been like '87,
87s.
Formula One,
Yeah.
and then the IndyCar went downtown, and then they moved it out to Belle Isle. And I think there was a gap in there too when there were no races. I'm not 100%
Really?
sure.
That'd been awesome if they brought it back downtown.
Yeah, it would.
Roads,
It would.
A few roads need filled.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but they might get the roads fixed that way too. So hey,
A win-win.
Belle Isle's a pretty cool venue though too.
Yeah.
That's a good venue too.
if Penske was behind it, it would probably get done.
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
true.
yeah, no doubt.
They
Yeah.
throw the money on that for
Yeah.
sure.
That's interesting.
That's fun. I love shooting that. When I went with you guys a couple of years ago, that was awesome.
The Bel Air.
Yeah, actually, it'd be more than a couple of years ago now. I don't know,
Yeah, it was
probably
a
10
few.
years ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, a long time.
I've always been tempted to go over to Belle Isle and then the last couple of years, obviously.
At least the free day on Friday.
Right. Yeah. It'd be good to see. And
It's such an odd place to shoot for fans. There really isn't a lot.
Oh really?
Yeah, like if you go to a place like Motorsport, CTMP, or Mid Ohio,
Okay.
or even Watkins Glen, there's so many places for fans to shoot.
Because you can
And
like,
some-
walk the fence pretty well.
Oh yeah,
shoot
and
the whole
sometimes
time,
we're
yeah.
in creds, and I'm on this side of the fence, but he's on the other side, and I'm standing next to a guy who doesn't have creds,
Right.
and we're shooting the same
Exactly,
thing in the
yeah.
racing. I mean, that's how good it is
Yeah.
for them.
Yeah, that's nice.
Because those are all like permanent tracks, right? I guess
Yes.
that'd be the advantage.
Yeah, the problem with Detroit is fence and cement.
Yeah, exactly.
Because as soon as you turn a corner, you can't see what's
Yeah.
over there anymore. If it was at CTMP, you'd know what's happening because you can see the track.
Yeah. Because I remember some of the bleachers. You're at a corner, you'd see a car coming 100 meters, and then it's gone in 100 meters. So it's like you have 30 seconds of, not even 3 seconds of viewing, it's gone. But
Yeah, that's,
True.
that's always the problem. Motorsport, right?
yeah,
It's not like you go to any other court sport.
Isle of Man. that'd be-
Isle of Man.
Oh,
Well, the only problem Isle of Man, it's like a pretty long track,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You're getting a bike go past you every.
It's always crazy when they hit like the little
yeah.
road bumps and they're jumping.
Well, that's all back home is road racing, right? It's road racing's huge in Ireland, and growing up, nearly every town had their road race. Like there's the Cardor 100. Cardor is known for nothing. It's a tiny little village hamlet, nothing going on it, but it had a Cardor 100 big road race. All the top road racing guys, Joey Dunlop, the biggest name ever in road racing, was there. All these guys just the passion for the road racing. Wherever there was a race, they turned up, and but these things are literally death traps. Our roads are bad for driving for motors, and then you put 200-mile-an-hour motorbikes on the road with like the little bumps in there. Like I watch guys kill themselves. Like it's literally, like, it's exhilarating watching these guys hitting the little bumps and taking air, but they don't hit them exactly right. I've seen high-speed wobbles and guys thing is, it's cement fence posts around
Yeah,
it.
houses
It's
and-
curbs. You know,
yeah.
the curb. They put hay bales around, but you're hitting that 200 mile an hour. You're still feeling that there. So these things are deadly, but these guys choose to do it, right?
Yeah.
And over the years, so more of those smaller races have been taken away. So there's only like a handful left in Ireland. Isle of Man will always be there. The Northwest 200 and the northwest of Northern Ireland, it'll always be there because of the passion. But every year there's 2-3 people die.
Yeah.
Some of that's common sense, and some of that's insurance.
Right. So,
Really, I mean, tracks limit where you can go,
Right.
and a lot of it's insurance.
Yeah.
It's, somebody said, hey, wait a minute, we shouldn't be doing that.
Right. Yeah, we can't cover it.
You ever
But-
shoot rally at all?
Just on Belle Isle when
Okay.
the World Rally cars were in.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that. That'd be awesome.
It was a one-time deal. They came in for 2 days.
Because they do a circuit in Bancroft at the Rally at Tall Pines. I've been wanting to go up
Oh
there. For
yeah,
like-
but up there every year.
Yeah, every
and
year.
there's multiple
I've been wanting to go do
tracks
that
and
for
cars.
years.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Nice winter race would be awesome.
Yeah, some of them again. It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
That's those guys are going serious speed on
Yeah,
small
through like
roads.
the logging roads, we have
Yeah,
to go like
yeah.
60 kilometers down there. Wow, that's insane.
Yeah, well, people tell me I'm insane to stand next to CTMP with cars going 150 miles an
Yeah.
hour.
True.
But
true.
there's a fence and a wall between me
Yeah,
and them, and
yeah.
those guys. I've seen people shooting on the edge of the road.
Oh, you even see
the
some
rally,
the
the
rally.
they're
like,
running across,
yeah.
and the cars blowing by.
Yeah.
Nuts.
so many near misses with those things,
Oh, yeah,
and
crazy.
especially if you watch like the old videos,
The Rally
from,
B,
from
Group B.
the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
Like guys just like hanging out on their trying to get photos, hanging out on the grass verges.
It used to be absolutely. You used to have unlimited horsepower. Group B was like you have 1,000 horsepower
Yes.
Ford Fiesta, and like it was just insane.
Yeah.
It was just insane.
There's-
now it's pretty regulated.
Yeah,
but-
there's one. I'm not sure if it's called a Metro, but it was a 6R4, and it was one of the most powerful cars. Tiny car with like I think it was like close to 1,000 horsepower, and they tried to make a road version of it. And they wouldn't legalize it. Said that it was too powerful for the size of the weight and size of the cars. So
Yeah.
there's going to be accidents everywhere. So I think there's a limited edition or amount of them on the roads, and it's one of the things. Have you ever seen one? You're oh, this is this guy's got a death wish. Yeah, because to say it just was literally a rally car, and even at that, it wasn't suitable for really any tracker anywhere they could find. So yeah, that's good. So go ahead.
Oh, what's your favorite thing to shoot then? Like
Yeah.
If I could shoot hockey all winter and motorsports all summer,
that's a good.
I'd be a happy boy.
compromise. Yeah, that'd be.
That's it.
That's perfect because like
That's it.
motorsports are gone in the winter, and then
Well, unless you want to shoot down
Yeah.
to Florida or something,
Yeah,
and shoot
true,
some
true,
Daytona in
absolutely.
February and take a break from
Yeah.
hockey.
Yeah.
hey, that'd be all right too though.
So with going to like the motorsport and that, how much of it was like local around southwest Ontario, and how much of it was in the States? Yeah?
A typical schedule in a year, the last few years anyway, would have been 3 events at CTMP Motorsport, Victoria Day weekend, IMSA in July, which is one of the premier, well, it's definitely the premier sports car series in North America, but one of the tops in the world.
Right.
And then the NASCAR trucks and NASCAR Pinties Labor Day weekend.
Okay.
And then you've got Detroit Indy, Mid Ohio, Xfinity. I haven't shot the Indy cars there yet though, and IMSA at Mid Ohio. Michigan used to have 2 NASCAR Cup events. Now they're down to 1, so the schedule's already up for 22. I'd love to go back to Watkins Glen. I've only
What's your favorite track?
been there once.
Can't pick one.
Watkins Glen or CTMP.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Watkins
Just
Glen's
those
New
road
York,
tracks
right?
are just
Yeah.
those road tracks are just so beautiful. Mid Ohio's right there too. I mean, all 3
They're
of
all
them.
they're all within like 4 hours of each other pretty well, right?
Yep.
Not even.
Yep.
Watkins Glen is beautiful. You ever go to the state park there?
No, I haven't. I've seen enough pictures.
Yeah,
Some guys
the
who
waterfall coming down
stayed-
and
yeah.
stuff. I've never been there yet, but
I fished up at Lake of the Isles, which is Gananoque, just east of Gananoque,
okay.
and
not too familiar.
it's in American water,
yeah.
and it's the highway that goes into New York, and that reminds me of what I've seen from the pictures there of the Glen, like
yeah.
the high, a little bit of like a mini valley kind of,
Yeah, yeah.
the high falls. Lake of the Isles has a pass that you can go through near the bridge where it's like sharp sides, and sometimes there's enough room for 2 boats if there's so you have to sit. If somebody's coming, you have to kind of pull over and wait, let them go by, and then
That's wild.
But it's just, it's like you're in a valley. But that kind of reminds me of what I've seen in pictures of the Glen. I'd like to get there one day.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. One day.
See what happens when you get me talking. I go off on some
That's
tangent.
That's good.
Anyway,
So then you're saying you were doing like the pro fishing for a while. How long was that?
89, 90, 91.
Okay.
Always just bass, or
Yes. Yeah, that's all I've ever done in tournaments.
And how far away does that take you? Like, where do you have to go for that?
Closest tournaments would be here, Detroit River, Mitchell's Bay. The farthest tournaments would be Smiths Falls on the Rito system,
Okay.
up towards Ottawa.
Yeah. And you brought me down to show me the bass boats racing along the Detroit River there a couple of weeks ago. That was pretty exhilarating. Now, has it always been that exhilarating, or has that just become like a new thing to it? Like, those guys
It's
racing?
always been exciting for me, and it's a lot more exciting when you're sitting in the left seat. I've been shooting down there. 2013 was when I really had my first viral picture, if you want to call it that, and it was a bass boat that was totally out of the water. The stuff that I just shot in the last couple of weeks, it was out of the water even more than those.
Oh, really?
And it kind of got me a connection with that angler and his production company, his agent, whatever. And they ended up obtaining the pictures, that one and another different angler who had the same company. And they ended up on Bassmaster TV.
that's nice.
They showed how rough it was. The one picture that I took of Aaron Martins, he ended up breaking the motor mount on the boat.
like a transom?
And he
Really?
couldn't make it back. He was at the lower end of the Detroit River, and he couldn't make it back. And he was leading,
Oh.
and had enough, or close to the top, and had enough weight though to probably win it.
That's crazy.
$100,000 tournament.
Oh, no.
So anyway, that started the connection with the bass boats. I thought, I can
What
do
do they
this.
call
So
that stretch? Is it Miracle
the
Mile?
Miracle
Wow.
Mile, because it's a miracle if you make it
Yeah.
some days.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And that's just all those walls.
yeah, just bounce
And
waves
all
every
the
way,
waves
yeah.
just keep bouncing, and you get a freighter to go down there, and all the normal weekend traffic with the 40-foot tuna boats,
Yeah,
and they just create more waves, and they come off the walls, and they're coming in all directions.
Right.
yeah. You can't
So-
just ride on top of them or skip on
Yeah,
top.
it's not like a lake where everything's
Yeah.
from one direction and you can
Exactly.
figure it out. You think you got it figured out, and then all of a sudden,
Another one.
here's
comes
this
on the
rogue
left.
thing, and it lifts you up off the water. And
Anyone sink right there? Or?
I've never seen anybody underwater.
No,
No.
it's a miracle.
That's it. It's still called that. And we worked it out. It's not a Miracle Mile. It's like 14 kilometers.
Yeah.
That stretch
The bridge is probably the worst part, though. I'd imagine, probably right around that corner. or-
It
Between
depends
there
on
and
the wind. Like
Highwalkers?
if you get that southwest wind really blowing it, it creates that little rip wave that goes up against everything that's coming out of the river,
Yeah, true.
plus the other stuff. And last week I was shooting. Most of my stuff was at the bridge. The problem there was the backlighting, because when we went, they were going the other way.
Right,
They were coming
Coming-
into the sun
Yep.
in the morning and then into the sun in the afternoon. This was the opposite.
Oh,
So I got creative with it.
right. Yeah, yeah.
Do some black and white
There
stuff.
was some pretty cool shots you posted. So you went from like being in the tournaments then to wanting to sort of shoot them because you knew was that because you knew how exhilarating it was. That'd be good.
Yes.
That'd be good sort of topics to.
And my tournament days are, I won't say they're behind me, but they're getting there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did a couple tournaments this year and had a bit of a physical issue with, after one of them, and it is
Lot
what
of
it
work.
is. I'll,
There's a lot of work. For
Like,
sure,
I
I
guess
imagine.
when I
yeah,
post-
they are work, but at 60 it starts to hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's
running around.
whenever I posted my shots of the bass boats, I was going like, growing up, you always think of fishing as a relaxing old guys out just
Sitting on the pier.
get their fly rod and just or else just dinking the rod in and out. But like that's proven that it's a pretty high octane
Yeah.
sport.
Nothing
for
relaxing about tournament bass
No.
fishing, unless you bag your limit first thing in the morning
Right.
and you're having a good time.
True.
I could see that easing off.
Yeah.
Is
We've done
Lake
that a
St.
few
Clair as
times.
good as everyone says for bass
Lake St.
fishing?
Clair is one of the best
Yeah,
bass lakes in the world.
That's what I've heard.
Wow.
We got Bass Heaven or Bass Haven, right? Out in Mitchell Bay.
Yeah,
Heaven or Haven?
yeah, it is. Yeah, Bass Haven.
Yeah,
I haven't heard that for a while. Quite
Yeah.
a while.
So other than that, you're all. Where I actually met you from was like hawk banding at
Yes.
Holiday Beach. How did you get into that, or where's your?
I was shooting pictures on the tower one day,
Okay.
and somebody says, "Hey, why don't you go see Claude over in the banding shack?" I'm like, "What banding shack?" I don't know anything about it. I didn't even know they banded. And I said, and who's Claude? He says, well, just go over there. He told me how to get there, and turns out I'd passed that shack like 50 times in and out of the park, right? And I asked my son was there, and I said, hey, Kevin, you want to go over and check it out? He's like, nah, not really. So I didn't go. And about 5 minutes later, I was curious. I said, look, Kev, if you're going to come, great, I'm going. You can stay here. I know where you're at. So he came. We went over there. I met Claude. And he actually let Kevin do a little bit of work with the sharp shin.
Nice.
So that was cool.
Yeah.
And that was my introduction. So I didn't band at first. All I did was take pictures. I was taking pictures in the shack, taking pictures of the birds before they released them, after they banned them. And they asked me a couple times, like Nina says, do you want to band yet? And Claude says, do you want to band yet? And I was like, no, not really. I just want to take pictures. So I was learning. Meanwhile, I'm there taking pictures, but I'm learning. I'm seeing what they're doing and how the operation works. And then one day, I think it was Nina said, so do you want to start banding? She didn't even get the word banding out, and I said, yes. Here we go. So that was like in November. It was near the end of the season, but so I'm not sure how many years I actually banded before I just got my permit 2 seasons ago. Must have been at least 4 years of banding before I. Yeah.
Is it pretty intimidating to like kind of hold your first one and?
Yeah, but if I recall, they started me off. Like Claude started me off, small, maybe a Sharpie or something. Actually, might have been a coupe or something like that, because it was late in the year. And I remember that the first bird, I think that was going to be mine, was a red tail, but it was a crazy bird. And luckily he didn't give it to me. He said, no, I wasn't going to give you that one. So that worked out.
Nice. Now, again, that can be one of those things. I've been down there a number of times, and some days it's exhilarating, other days it's pretty tedious.
It's worse than watching paint dry.
Oh, it really.
Some days,
right? It is. So, especially days where you're expecting something, right?
Those are the worst.
Yeah, exactly. You're getting north winds, and for some reason nothing's going over that. Mm-hmm. And if you find it anywhere else, so the marsh station, they're getting birds galore, and you're getting nothing, right? That can be quite annoying. But then there is days. There's the one day that before the pandemic, or the day I was down, we think we got 100 red tails in the one day.
Well, you were the manager. After a while, we just listened to Donnie, because he was arranging birds as we were bringing them in and then banning them, and Donnie was like, "New birds here, take that one. New birds here." If he wasn't doing that, though, we would have been out of luck.
We were literally bringing it.
Birds chaotic,
everywhere.
It was.
There were red tail after red tail just kept hitting the nets, and
we banded 99 birds that day.
Yeah.
And the 100th bird, if you recall, one escaped out of a can in the shack. Yeah. And I remember I was out in the nets taking a bird out, and I looked in and went through the windows. I think it was Owen. I could see Owen running after I heard ding 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 ding. The can fell, and then I see a bird fly out the door, and I see Owen run out after it. It's like, and that would have been the 100th though.
Been,
That's an awesome story though. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, but that was a crazy, and it didn't even start off. It was, I think you actually arrived a bit later, and that's when it really took off. Now, Bob had been getting birds, but it wasn't. It's all of a sudden in the afternoon. It was just.
I think I came out after work. So I didn't even get here until 8:45.
Right.
And they already had birds in the box, right? And I thought, oh, this is nice. At least we'll get a few birds today. Little did I know how much work it was going to be.
Right.
We took why, I don't know. At the time, it sounded like a good thing to do, but we took the day off the next day because we were all tired. And Marsh went in, and they cleaned up the second day with 40-something birds or something, some kind of number that's crazy. Yeah. Alone.
No,
I'd never do that again. I'd never take the day off.
That's what I'm doing.
It's like,
what's the record like for a day there?
That's well, wait a minute. That's our, let's call it the modern day record.
Right.
That's for us, because the people who banded way before us, maybe not long before us, but before us, they had some days like that with Sharpies alone.
Really?
100 birds.
Yeah,
that's wild. That's crazy.
It really, there's sort of a point where you have to have enough manpower, because if they're at them, just the usual two guys
on a day like that. Yeah, you have to.
You would have been leaving birds outside. You wouldn't have. You just had to let them go.
Yeah.
Because everything we had in there was filled. Like you store them until you're ready to take.
If there were only two of us there and the birds were flying like that,
yeah,
we'd just shut it down
exactly,
and take care of the birds we have, and then go back to doing our job.
That's crazy.
Because you just can't stack them up like that.
No,
do eagles and stuff get caught in the nets often,
they get golden eagles.
Yeah.
Chip, you got a golden.
Yeah,
It was one of his first birds.
Oh,
I mean, those are like
ginormous.
the treasure of banding, right?
Yeah. There's they don't really get bald eagles. I think they get the odd one, and then they'll ban the ones that come in as rescues, right? Sometimes somebody will go from their station and go. And
I've never been
them.
involved with an eagle yet, a golden or a bald.
Couldn't imagine it.
So,
it's there's been probably in the times I've been going, like, but never whenever I'm there. There's been 3 goldens, I think. So that's like I've been going back and forth there for over 10 years. And I've only really remember 3. I can distinctly sort of remember 3 records.
we were just talking about this the other day with Chip. I think they got the golden on a Saturday. Anyway, the Monday after, or whatever the day it was, but the Monday right after, I drove up after coming in from work, and Chip's coming over to me, and he's kind of downhearted. You know, I could see it. He says, "Man, you should have been here 10 minutes ago." Why? Oh, we couldn't get out to the golden fast enough in the nets, and he got out and left. I was like, 2 in 3 or 4 days, or whatever it was. You know, just
just like you know how you put like the hawks in like a tube.
Yeah.
Do you have like a tube for?
Nope.
You just kind of like bear hug it.
If you want to weigh it, you put your regular scale on the ground.
Yeah.
And you weigh yourself.
And then hold it
and weigh the bird and do
weight.
subtraction.
That's crazy.
It's unlike the other ones where we have a scale that we could put.
Just hope he doesn't
on.
turn his head towards you and start chomping.
Nah.
Well, that's it. It's like I have got when I'm doing the oil banding, I've got a few little talons in me. That's as bad as I've got, but it's a pretty common thing for you when you're retrieving the hawks to get a few cuts over the season, right? It's not.
It's common over the season. I thought you were going to say it's common every day.
No, you wouldn't be there.
Nope.
To her up.
No. I think everybody who bands that I know has had at least one good talon.
Yeah.
Oh, the other this year already, I was getting a bird, and I don't know how, but my finger slid down the foot and went into the ball inside the foot, and it closed its talons on me. But because of where it was, I could feel them all touching me, but they weren't going. There was no more that they could give, right?
Oh, it's just like its fingers on.
It was like that, right? And I just slid my finger back out real slow. I just didn't know how it happened, but that's usually how you get hurt. Something happens that is out of the blue.
Right. Yeah, because that's it. Obviously you start off really cautious, and then you become comfortable with it. It's not that you become complacent. It's you become comfortable in what you're doing. So that's the chances you're getting. It's only when the bird maybe acts totally differently, or whenever it's just something slightly different happens, that something's going to happen like that, right?
Obviously, people have gotten stitches and stuff, then, right?
Oh yeah.
Probably, but not that I know of. Really,
I mean, it's the risk of playing with big birds.
Right, exactly.
It's scary when you're looking at a talon on this side and you can see the point over here.
Yeah. He's got hundreds of pounds of pressure. You can. Wow.
Now, so like, we're listening to sort of more like a lot of hobbies and a lot of photography opportunities for you. So now you're retired. Is there anything you're sort of thinking I'm going to be focusing more on? Is there something different you're wanting to look towards doing now you're retired?
When it comes to motorsports, there's some tracks I'd like to go to that I haven't been to.
Okay.
I've always kind of had the schedule around summer vacations and stuff. I would plan my summer schedule for racing, and then look at what kind of days off do I have, and then figure out some of my vacation around racing weeks.
Yeah.
Maybe try to nail a week where I've got a race on this weekend and this weekend, so I cover them both with the same vacation. But now I don't have to worry about vacation picks.
What are some tracks?
Let's go.
What are some of the tracks you want to check out?
I'd like to shoot Indy.
Okay. Nice.
I'd like to shoot the Indy 500.
That'd be cool.
I still have not shot a Daytona 500. I shot 2 years ago. I shot the Rainout Sunday, but I could not come back on Monday to shoot. So I wouldn't mind shooting a full Daytona 500. Other than that, get back to the Glen again.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I really discovered short tracks though. Like seeing as I couldn't cross the border last year, I got to shoot a couple short tracks.
Yeah. Cayuga and like that guy.
Jukasa, as it's called now.
Yep.
And
the owner just
Delaware.
Kenny Hill, the owner died. Right?
Yes, he did. Yeah, he passed away.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Between that, I shot Flamborough this year. I'd never been to Flamborough in my life.
Where's that at?
Just west of Hamilton.
Okay.
Delaware. I've been there since 1972 when my dad took us. So it's...
Isn't Delaware where they have the Canada Tire or Canadian Tire, the cast car?
Yes.
Yeah.
They're very good. McCurley Millen, I think it was called.
Yeah.
The big race.
Yeah.
300 maybe. They're doing a lot of improvements to that track.
Yeah, that's
So
good. It's like for like Southern Ontario being like the motor city capital of kind of Canada, right?
Mhm.
We really don't have anything. Like you gotta drive good ways for anything. It's kind of, it's like if they made something good here, I think the Americans would come over here and vice versa. But I don't think it'll ever happen.
Track-wise, you mean?
Yeah, track wise.
Yeah.
There's probably little chance of new tracks being built in this
Yeah.
day and age, right? There's
Most likely,
Yeah.
you're right.
So many noise complaints. Everyone complains about
Right.
the noise and
yeah, you're not.
Well,
gonna,
you build a track out in the middle of nowhere, and then
The
people start
subdivision
building
is
around
noises,
it,
and
and then they go,
complain.
it's noisy.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the track was here,
Yeah.
exactly.
and then you built next to it. What did you expect?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But, it's politicians.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
No winning there.
no, absolutely not. But again, that's part of life, right? It's just everything changes and everything stays the same. People are the same, right? You always have somebody complain or somebody wants something, somebody doesn't want something. So
Yeah.
So, like I said, you went from the film days into the digital. Is there any?
Oh, yeah, I went through the film days though, but I was out of photography during the changeover,
Okay.
so I didn't have to buy the next camera and the next camera and the next camera.
yeah.
I jumped back in with the Nikon. I think it was 2011.
Okay.
It wasn't that long. It's only 10 years
Yeah.
ago that I jumped back into photography,
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
and I'm doing what I'm doing.
Yeah. So, you went from like, what was that changeover like for you then? What did you? Whenever you went to digital, did you kind of go, film's so much better? Why would you? Or did you go, I love digital. This is it.
Heck no, give me autofocus.
Yeah.
I didn't have I've never had a film camera with autofocus.
Oh,
I
that's
know they
wild.
existed, but I never had one.
Yeah.
So, like for like sports, would you just like focus on a point where you think they would end up?
Zone focusing.
Yeah.
Yep. I still use it now for racing.
Oh yeah.
So if I want to do panning, I'll focus on that zone. I'll find something on the track, or I'll just sacrifice a couple cars going by, get the focus point, shut off the autofocus,
Yeah.
and keep my
we can
fingers
find
off
pan.
the focus ring, and just worry about panning. And
Nice.
efficiency's better for me.
Yeah.
And you could do the same thing with head-ons too. You focus on the point where you want the cars,
Right when it hits
And
there.
and then as they're coming through it, you shoot them coming through that focus
Yeah.
point, and you don't have to worry about autofocus.
Yeah.
Although my Nikon stuff's pretty fast, the 200 to 400 and the 70 to 200.
yeah.
When I'm shooting them at Michigan through the like at turn one and through the hole through the fence,
Yeah.
we're looking at 180 miles an hour or more,
Yeah.
and I can get a crisp frame
Nice. Yeah.
shooting like 1/2000, something like that.
And D500's got the same autofocus as like the D4 or D5.
T5, yes,
Yeah, so it's like some of the best autofocus.
same
on the planet.
CPU.
Yeah.
Yep, it is.
It is wild. Yeah, I got a D500 too, and it's fantastic. I love that camera. Man, are we gonna get blown away here or what?
We already had
I
one.
don't know how the lights haven't fallen over.
Yeah, they're well set up.
Yeah.
Probably not. Probably they're not even getting any wind out in the edges here.
Yeah.
So you don't miss film at all, then? That's what you're saying?
No, I do not.
Not at all, eh?
And I'm having a hard time understanding why people are going back to film to get the film look.
Yeah.
You can
But
fly it.
granted, a lot of these people who are going back to it are younger and never shot with film,
Right.
so they're trying it.
Right.
But it's a,
But, yeah.
it's a weird argument too, because like all the time in like some of the photo forums, you always see like people going, "Oh, I grew up in the film days," like as if like it's
That's-
like
yeah.
something better. Like how do you explain
Yeah.
it?
I started off better than you.
Yeah.
Now because you're worse.
But then it's like that's like saying, "Oh, I was a race car driver and I drove a Model T first." Like, you know what I mean? Why wouldn't you want to like? It's no advantage. Well, I don't know. I guess there's advantage knowing film for sure, because then you understand exposures.
right. Yeah,
There's definitely an advantage.
You definitely understand
You're
photography
you're
better.
forced to understand.
Right. Yeah. Where I can digital era, you can
You can cheat it quite a bit.
pretty much. Like,
There was no auto button on my cameras.
Yeah, exactly.
It might have existed on later film cameras.
Yeah.
Did it even have a light meter built in on the bottom, or did you have to
No,
carry around a light meter?
let's see. Sometimes there was a light meter on the side in my viewfinder.
Mm.
Okay.
Um,
Kind of similar like what we got at the bottom there. You just got to keep the line in the middle. Like, you know, on like the... Never mind.
Next thing you're going to talk to me about histograms. Jeez.
Just that's the difference is like there, but that's with anything, and there's pure stuff, right?
Yeah.
They'll say that because I did film, because you understand it, but there is people who do digital photography who same thing. I've went through courses who are into that side of things, and then there is the ones who cheat it.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure there's lots of people tried to cheat it with their film cameras. It's a bit harder. There wasn't the thirst for that kind of thing. No, the media wasn't 24/7. No, right?
Yeah.
It's there had to be so disappointing shooting film and then looking through your roll afterwards and just seeing.
Well, don't forget,
crap.
you shot the film and then you had to wait a week to get them back
Right. Yeah.
to look through them.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's wild. Different time, eh?
Oh, is it? And then they said you didn't really know what you were getting back. Now with digital, you know right away. Now, if you've got a lull, if you're doing motorsport or whatever, and there's a lull, and you can look to see how things are turning out, and you have to change something. With film, you could think, I've got this nailed on, right?
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, you look, you got nothing there.
Fingers are crossed. Everything should be right.
Yeah.
But
Especially with film too. You're like, how many shots you got in a canister of film? 25, 30 shots.
on film, it was 24 or 36.
Yeah. That's,
But you could get 25 out of it.
Okay.
Sometimes.
that was a good day.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, if like I don't know what cameras shot way back then, but I'm sure they're not like 10 frames a second like now, right?
No, you had to buy the auto winder to
It was
hook
like
up to the
thing I
bottom.
hooked on yeah.
I used mine once on my Pentax, killed 2 rolls, and said I'll never use it again.
Oh yeah, just what happened?
Never. Because when you're playing with a 24 or 36 shot roll,
Oh,
Yeah.
and they're chipping away at 3 or 4 in a burst,
Yeah.
and it's not digital,
Yeah.
you got to pay for every one of those when you get them.
oh.
Expensive day. Cool.
So-
It's still sitting in my basement somewhere. No, I don't know how long that is. 40 years? I don't know.
Now, do you try to be selective when you're shooting, or are you just like, I'm just going to hit everything?
If I'm shooting sports, I'm generally shooting like just an easy single shot to get what I want. Or if I'm shooting action, I'm usually in 2, 3, 4 shot burst at the most.
Okay.
I don't run the buffer.
Just fill the
Yeah.
buffer right now?
Yeah, no.
You might as well just shoot video.
I've only done that a couple times when I followed something that was actually happening, like a car rolling or something like that, or going up into tires
Yeah.
and stuff blowing all over, and I just laid on it, got my thumb off the back and just laid on the shutter and just said, go ahead,
Yeah.
until I think I only slowed it down once, which I don't know what that's 70 shots in or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, just talking about that there, just bring something to mind. Do you think we're going to get to the point soon where, like, the photography side of things, of actions, like sports, will become almost redundant because they're going to use freeze frames?
Well, they can do it. They're able to do it a few years ago.
Yeah, but
Like,
I mean the quality as well. It was
well, so if you shoot 8K video, it's a 24 megapixel photo.
Right.
And if you shoot 8K raw video, you can literally, it's like you're shooting at 30 frames a
Per
second
second, right.
at 24 megapixels.
right.
So you can technically just take off every
Every
frame
frame.
is a picture, 24 megapixel picture.
To answer your question, yeah, I guess it's possible. I mean, look what they
It's
did
no
with
fun though.
Yeah, that's what that'll take us
partway there when they went kind of automated during COVID at Major League Baseball.
right.
They didn't have any shooters around the diamond, and not every park, I don't think, but they set up automated cameras with controls. Somebody was controlling somewhere, and they were motorized. I think for tilt
Right.
and everything. And then, I can control mine D500 right now from
Yeah.
remote. Everything, focus,
Yeah.
all my exposure.
Yep.
So I mean, that was frightening.
Yeah.
That they could do that at baseball, and basically, if you
overnight,
point enough
really.
cameras, you'll get everything.
Yeah.
It was basically.
I'm trying to think. But there's no actual real benefit to any of the sports doing that either. Because if you're prepared to come and shoot, and everything's at different angles, right? Everybody, if the more cameras you've got there, whether it's TV or whether it's video or whether it's a camera, if you've got more people shooting more angles, you've always got the opportunity of getting something of a slightly different nature, right? So if it's not really costing them money, if it's not, if the Major League Baseball is saying, we'll let as many photographers come still, and we can still do our own network stuff.
Yeah.
It's not costing us anything unless we're going to. But if somebody comes off with a stellar shot, then we're prepared to spend.
I think when I use the word frightening, that's a bit of an overkill word, but I think that the frightening part of it was that they could do it,
Right.
and they could do it so quick,
Yeah.
like you
Yeah.
said.
Yeah, it's crazy. But like at the same time, like I think there'll always be a photographer for press. Like you can take a picture and then you can send it out within
Right, good.
minutes,
Just
right?
straight
Where
away
those
rather than
guys,
edit. Yeah,
those
yeah.
guys, they have to go through a bazillion photos at the end.
You've
right?
seen some of the Olympic stuff, right?
Yeah.
Where everything's wired.
Yeah, yeah.
So a guy shoots and
And it's
he never
already
even
done.
sees that
Yeah.
frame until maybe at night when he goes back to his room, he'll see the frame, but it's already published.
yeah, yeah.
That's the first time he saw his frame.
I've seen that with when they did the videos for the NHL bubble last year.
Mm-hmm.
the video. It was Dave Sanford stuff, and that was showing you that they're taking they're setting their cameras up for the day. But then it went to the press room or wherever the room is.
Somebody else's processing?
Somebody else's processing. So the image is going straight to them. So they might be getting credited for the use of their image, but like you say, they don't know.
I could see that happening. It'd be like a 2-person team or whatever.
Right.
Like you have to have somebody with a laptop. Every shot you take on the laptop.
I've seen it at Michigan for racing.
Yeah.
But it's somebody actually shooting. Let's say they're shooting in turn 4, and they're hardwired. I don't even know what they're hardwired to. I'm not sure if they're hardwired to the media center, or if they're just hardwired to Wi-Fi. So it's going to go to somebody in some other city to do the processing.
Yeah.
But it's hardwired.
Because that's like media now, right? They want it quick. Everything's so fast.
Yeah. It's almost like you hear something happening in a race or a game, and you go on your social media to find out. And near enough now, it's pretty quickly. There's a still some sort of image.
I see it at hockey and at racing. At hockey, I see it with the team shooter through Getty.
Yeah.
Getty Images, NHLI, I think it's called. There'll be somebody doing processing for the shooter, so it's always being processed. Right? There's always something going out.
Right.
Always something available. And I've seen it at racing with. I'm not with the Getty room because they're usually in their own room, but I've been in there with LAT, who is big in motorsports, and there'll be a team. There'll be a team shooting, and there'll be somebody processing.
Okay, that's pretty interesting. So there's a lot of the stuff you can take for granted. The regular fan of sports takes for granted. How all this gets out, and it's in the video I watched there last year. I thought it was pretty eye-opening that this stuff, and the fact that you're seeing it like instantly. Like I said, your Getty ones, and that's in even other outlets now. It's the same principle. They're wanting the images right away, and especially if there is something like that one image that everyone goes to the. As much as you don't want people to get hurt in accidents and motorsport and out there, they want that image of a car wheels falling off it.
Yeah.
AP for sure. AP, Getty, Detroit News, they all process between periods at the Red Wing games.
Oh yeah,
and it's off.
Yeah.
Like AP is off.
Right.
You'll see AP stuff.
Oh, camera just fell.
Oh, bummer.
Well, this is a good one. We got everything full.
The front element coat or what?
Lens hood saved it.
Still going. Keep going. We're not going to stop. We're not going to let this stop us.
Oh, what happened to the light?
I think this one just died.
Yeah, battery just went click.
Gone on that one. It broke it? Oh no, we're broke. We're not broke. We're going to restart. The sound's still going. No video.
That was a good gust.
Yeah.
I think we better.
Get wrapping it up here soon. What? What do you say?
Well,
For high wind? Yeah, we're getting 100 kilometer an hour gust of wind now, so we're going to wrap it up here soon. So what we really come to the conclusion is
you're with the camera.
yeah,
And I'm scared.
you're a well-rounded photographer, and you know pretty much all your passions and things. You've taken the chance and done photography of it too, right?
Yes, I consider myself well-rounded in the dynamic subject category. How's that?
Okay.
Because I kind of say it once in a while. I've said it to other people. If it ain't moving, I'm not shooting.
Right.
I'm not big on shooting, landscapes, portraits,
Right.
Astro,
Yeah.
macro. I don't.
You like the action.
I like the action.
Yeah.
I like shooting. I like trying to capture that action,
Yeah.
that movement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So very good. We do appreciate you coming on, taking time out of your busy schedule.
I only did it for the pizza and the pop. Man. That was it.
Yeah. So I'm glad you enjoyed it, and it was good to have you on. So we appreciate your time. But
Thank
like
you.
I said, we are going to get blown away here soon, so
Yeah.
we really should pack up and get out of here. So it's going to be a goodbye from Nick.
Goodbye from Donnie.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Hey, see ya.
It's